Hello, Mr. Manjang? Hello? Hello, Mr. Manjang, can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me? Hello, Mr. Manjang? Hello, can you hear me? Hello, Mr. Manjang? Hello?
Yes, I can hear. Yes.
You can hear me now? Okay, how are you?
Fine, thanks.
Okay.
Welcome. Let me just say this quickly.
It's echoing.
Is it from my end?
I think so. How's it now?
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Still okay?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. But not echoing anymore, right?
It's still got static background now, sound. It's static.
I don't know because I'm not using a earpiece.
Okay, all right. Maybe that might be. It's okay. It's all right. It's audible.
It's okay.
You're audible enough, yeah. Okay.
Okay, so yeah, so Dave, first introduce yourself to our viewers.
Hello. Hello, I'm DF Manneh. Lamin DF Manneh. I'm from Brufut. I still echoing a bit.
Yeah, it's cracking. Do you open it in another device? No. Yeah, it's cracking. So.
Yeah, I can hear crackling somewhere. Hello?
Hello, yes?
1 second, let me check here. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
It just seems to be a static sound in the background, like static
Yeah,
noise.
I don't know.
Like echo or something, yeah?
I will mute you, see if that is it from my end.
Yeah, I was going to mute you to see. Okay. Yeah, it's from your end. Hello? Can you... Yeah, it's from your end, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, how are you? You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
All right. Yes, this is DF Manneh. I'm from Brufut. This is our 5th episode of the Brufut Lands Injustice rather. So today we thought we'll come back here again. You know the theme anyway. It's obviously, like we say, it's a case. Brufut is a case study, and that's what we use here. But I think this issue is much broader than that. We got it obviously. Brufut and Yundum were the first victims of state land what's it called, robbery, state-sanctioned robbery of lands from communal owners to an individual. But I think there probably might be some other cases anyway. So we are happy to raise our heads above the parapet and speak about it. And also we are hoping that within these conversations, from these conversations, yeah, I can hear
it's
you.
like, hello?
Yeah, I can hear you, yes.
It's like I lost Dave there. Anyway, this, hello?
I can hear you. I can hear you, yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Your screen freezes.
Say that again?
Your screen freeze earlier.
Okay. Do you think you might have some network problems at your end?
No.
No? Okay. All right. Because your screen's just frozen right now.
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right. Anyway, you can hear me though, yeah?
Yeah, I can hear you clearly. Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's no problem. Let's get on with it. Yes. Like I was saying, we're hoping that the little contributions. I mean, what we say here, other communities can also get some courage from it to speak up, because the land issues in Kombo is a threat that needs to be tackled head on, because it's not only affecting people who are living today, but I think the situation is going to get worse as time goes on. Another generation from now, I mean, I think it's going to be very difficult for people to get land in Kombo. I mean, we have this mass urban migration, which is not unique to the Gambia anyway, but I think it's very, very it's felt very, very it's very real. It's very real in Kombo, and then I think it's only going to get worse from there, Mr. Manjang. So I don't know if you can hear me. I think we're struggling with some technical difficulties today, but that's the essence of this whole conversation. This is the fifth episode. The fifth episode we thought we'll give it a theme, and the theme will be land is more than just inheritance. It is our families. It's for it is our family's place in the broader political and social history of Kombo.
Yeah. Hello.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much, Dave. Viewers of Video TV Online, welcome to another episode of Brufut Land Injustice. And setting the record straight. So, as we will be discussing, land is more than a mere inheritance. It's our family place in the broader Combo political and social history. And land and human rights annotated compilation of case law, UNHR Office of the Human Rights 2015. And rapid urbanization in and its implication, then research rapid urbanization, ethno-communal conflict, how government bias can fuel communal conflicts in Africa. So these are the issues Dave will be discussing. As he said, Brufut is a case example, but you go anywhere in the combos is littered with land problems, either government helping itself to communal lands or some unscrupulous business people conniving with corrupt government officials to uphold people's rights to their lands. So these and other issues we'll be discussing this afternoon for an hour. Thank you very much, Dave.
All right.
Welcome.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yes, I think it's important we try to situate, locate the history of the people, the history of these traditional landowners in Kombo. I mean, if we take an example of my own family, the Manneh clan, you can go back to, let's say, uh, before Kombo Silla's war in Kombo, the Kombo Silla, as we all know, is a guy who came from Mali, but in Gambia, we saw him as somebody from Gunjur. We call him a Gunjur native.
He
So I mean,
actually come from Guinea Conakry, I think.
yeah, but also yeah, we can say originally we all come from Mali anyway. Yeah,
Mali, yeah, exactly, yeah.
yeah, yes. So yeah, even Karbunkas come from Mali if
Mali,
you go
yeah,
back further enough.
eventually, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, for the
right.
yeah, no.
Yes. So yeah, you can say he came from Guinea via Mali via Guinea to the Gambia, and then he had his war, and then as part of his war, he the man is in Brufut were mercenaries for him. They are mercenary soldiers for him. So that's historical context there as well. So the Mane, the what's it called, the mercenary soldiers for him, the Mane squadron from Brufut were very very instrumental in his war. So I think we need to situate this as well. So, but for the yes, then
So
through that.
in that sense, you see these lands were owned through conquest, right?
No, not this specific
Or
land.
company.
Yeah, no, these ones weren't, but there are some other parts of
Mm.
the land. For example, let's say, I mean, you speak to some elders in Brufut, they tell you, Brufut shares a border with Sanyang. They will tell you,
Yeah, okay.
and then all
Yeah.
those came from because obviously our people, my forefathers, and what they told Kombasilla is like that. Our people before generations who came to settle in Kombo in Brufut, they were fighting lots of wars in Kabul. So they didn't
Mm.
want to go to war anymore. Yeah, war is something they want to leave behind. But then we had another set of managed from our family who came from Combo during the war. They came to stay in Bruford and they were all part of Combo Silla's machinery. So some of those people, the proceeds, what you can say the spoils of war, if you want to call it that, could be from Tangier going all towards Sanya end. So that's why you see if still in this day you'll find people in Bruford to say the Bruford land is so vast, they are neighboring town is actually Sanyang from in some ends. You can find people still say this argument in Brufut. But these particular lands by where, for example, was given to Tapa, that's not part of those lands. That's completely different. But I just thought it's important to see what's it called, my clan and other people, other clans as well. Uh, where they you can situate their contribution, both politically, social, and the social history of Combo. I think it's quite important. Every now and again, we can say this. It's not like uh, we are trying to, how do you want to call it? You want to scream and shout about it, but it's a reality. And history is very important to me. I think it should be important to everybody else, because through history, you can know where you were, and you probably will know where you are now, and you probably know where you're gonna be go ahead into.
Yeah.
So I think it's always important that when we discuss about contemporary issues, we try to situate them or try to do analysis which juxtaposes them with our history. So I think that's quite important. So I think we'll try and elaborate a little bit more. So this is a conversation, like you say, it's a conversation whereby we would like other people to join in as well. If they got what's it called, comments, they would like to share. If they got
Yeah.
questions, which they would like to chip in, we can do that.
Yeah, so guys, if you have any comments or you want to comment directly, you can call +220 9433419. This is a Gambian number, WhatsApp number, or you can just write your comment on the comments section. We will be able to bring you in.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, you can
Okay,
proceed.
yeah, it's a little bit better now. Okay, all right. If we move on from that, I think land, like we say, land is land is actually a human right. It's under the UN Convention, and because of that, I just thought it's probably right and proper. We can try and find some academic work on international law on land, and then you got ones whereby it's written by two professors, one Elizabeth Wickery and Anil Kalhan. Elizabeth is from Fordham University in Fordham Law School, and Ali Kalhan is from Drexel University and Thomas Klein Law School of Law in the University of California, Berkeley. So in 2010, they produced this paper. They published this paper where they say land rights in international human rights law. So basically, studying the case studies from the UN, and then trying to give people what's it called, the condition of landlessness, that it actually threatened various aspects of people's fundamental human rights, because their argument being that the central theme being that access to land is important for people's development, is for good for poverty reduction and all other stuff. Every social condition, if you look at it, I mean, land is very central to it. I mean, if you're homeless, if you landless, I mean, like I said, even in the Western sense, people who are homeless, they basically cannot vote sometimes because they don't even have an address. So being landless, especially in our situation, in our community, is a very, very serious matter. So that's why I think it's important we try and deal with it, and then we treat it like the importance that it deserves. That is not it's not a joke. We need to treat land as something which is very, very important to us. And being robbed of your land, whether by two unscrupulous dealers or, in our case, state-sanctioned robbery, doesn't make it any right. Whether it's the state or individuals or communities, I think it's everybody's right and responsibility to fight back. I think that's what we embark on here. So obviously, you have to go to the court in the Gambia, where some people in Maklan did that when the case first started. It didn't go anywhere because in those days we had the Ajame, but obviously the court case will go on again. But like I keep on saying, and I would like to emphasize this, what we embark on here is we're trying to broaden this conversation, because we want the Gambian public, the Gambian citizen, our fellow citizens, to become aware of what the situation is. And because some time has passed since this first began, and in those days we didn't have a lot of social media. So a few people, it's only few people outside of Kombo who probably were aware of this land issue. And even people in Kombo, it's going to be few people who actually got interest in land issues in Kombo and justice issues and civil rights issues, who were involved and who were actually aware of what happened. So we want to broaden this conversation, and we want to say, okay, this happened during Jammeh's era. But the whole essence of this third republic is to undo all the injustice of Yahya Jammeh. So that's why it's important we try and bring this conversation back to the forefront, into the Gambian public arena and the Gambian public consciousness, so that we can talk about it. And he asks fundamental questions of Gambians. How could it be right to a state which we all belong to can take some people's inheritance and rob it of them, give it to individuals, for that individual to enrich himself at the expense of hundreds and you can say thousands of people in two communities of Gunjur and Brufut. So this is a moral question we want to put out there to Gambians to think about it and say, do you think this is right? And then don't think of it just as land. Like I said, I try to situate it, locate it in the political and social history of Kombo. So it's an inheritance, but it's also got sentimental value. So these are all components our people need to put into consideration. So that's why we think, and I've been very, very strong believer from the very, very onset that this land issues, not only the land issues in Brufut and Yundum, I mean, they are the extreme examples. That's why we use them, because they are the very, very extreme examples. And they were also, you could say, they were the first cases, you can say, of what happened, of this land injustice in Kombo. So that's why we can never move away from them. That's why we use them as examples. And the person involved in it, Mustafa and yeah, that also make him we can call him the exhibit number one. So these two cases and the person involved, they are exhibit number one. We can never move away from them. So even though sometimes it's quite difficult because you don't want to name him as an individual, but we can never move away from it because he is very central to what happened. Not only was he the benefactor of the criminality that happened, he was actually somebody who was actually in the background leveraging this. So he actually used his position, his connection. And we talked about these connections the last time. We have social connections and we can never move away from them. It's a whole network of people whereby they liaise among themselves, they coalesce again amongst themselves and for the benefit of themselves and their selected people and people who are connected to them and their families. And the rest of the people, nobody seems to care about that. So Mustafa India is very central to what is happening in Brufut and Yundum, and is very central to our conversation. So that's why I think it's right and proper. We call him out. And then, yeah, our day of judgment, our day of reckoning will happen with Mustafa India. That will happen. But like I keep on saying all the time, and I want to always remind people, re-emphasize this. What we're doing here is not because we're not going to go to court. A court will happen. What we're doing here is to ask Gambian people to sit back and morally judge. And then not only more than just that, let them go further than that. Let them sit back and put themselves, for example, let them wear our shoes. The people of Yundum and Burfoot who've lost their inheritance, wear our shoes just for a few days and think about it. And look at the whole context and look at the perspective and look at you can talk about inheritance, you can talk about the social cultural history, you can talk about the political history, you can talk about the sentimental value of the land, but you can always not move away from the financial impact of the land. How overnight it made somebody a billionaire overnight. So I think we can never move away from that. So that's why Mustafa Njai is very central to our conversations. So we will always have to call him out. And then his day of reckoning will happen with us. That day is coming very soon. So whether he faces us face to face as a man or he wants to do it to his lawyers, but he will have to face us. It's either going to be direct or indirect. But our day of reckoning with Mustafa Njai, that will come. Inshallah, that definitely will come, inshallah, Mr. Manjang. So that's where we are. So today we try and bring.
Yeah, Dave, before you start the actual discussions, when you say your day of reckoning, that's probably will take another court case. Is the old court case now is out, thrown out, or is still at the court, or you going to start new proceedings against Mustafa Njai?
Um,
What are the
yeah,
plans?
the plan. Obviously, the old court case was shelved. Yeah, it was shelved.
Mm,
And the two people who were representing my clan, unfortunately, they both passed away. The elders, two elders of the Manneh clan. But
yeah,
what I try to always make people remember, you don't even have to be somebody from Brufut. You don't even have to be a
yeah,
Manneh or Sani from Brufut. This is a civil rights
mm,
issue. You, as an individual from Brufut or from anywhere within that
mm,
jurisdiction, can
yeah,
feel it that what happened is wrong, and you can start a court case. So it's
yeah,
important we do this. But the plan would be, and you don't need to hide this. The plan would be one person can start a court case, and then we can create a civil suit out of it. It's all possible. It's a lot of tactics we can use. It's not a problem. But like I said, these land court cases, they can take years and decades. And
yeah,
I'll probably give you some examples through this conversation. So it's not a court case whereby you go today and two days later the court case is finished. 1 year later it's finished. They can take decades. So it's got to be somebody, you need to be ready and know that this court case probably would outlive you. You have to be ready to basically pass this legal case to your children. So that's where it gets down to. So you have to have people who are happy, like I am, to say, look, I'm going to take this on because this is my inheritance, because somebody's abused my fundamental human right. But more than that, even if I die today, my child might be 11 years old, auntie who lives with me, and another one might be 6 months old, 11 weeks old. But I will make sure I leave enough evidence and I leave enough paperwork for them to make it easy for them to carry this through. Because that's where it's come to. Because the land needs to be it's my lineage. It needs to be there. And I keep on citing examples of the UK. You can go back to 1086, where you go to William the Conqueror, King William the Conqueror. He did the Great Land Survey of the UK. There are people and clans and families in this country for 900 years, they own their land. They will listen to you for 99 years. At the end of the 99 years, the ownership reverts back to the owners. They are not stupid enough to sell their land because they know the value of land. So you can build on my land, no problem. But you are not having the title deeds on my land. So this is what the conversation is. If you want to build on my land, fine. But just know that my land is not going to be passed to your kids. The day you move, the land comes back to me. So that's some of the conversation I think we need to try and actually make our people even back home understanding Kombo, who, for one reason or another, feel that necessary to sell their land. That if you feel necessary, I will never advise anybody to sell their land. But if you feel it necessary that you need to sell your land, make sure you don't give free lease to anybody. Don't sell your land on free lease to anybody. Never do that. It's a fundamental error. Have a predetermined time period. 51 years, you're allowed to. 99 years maximum. After that, you tell the buyer, this land comes back to my family. And you make sure you got legal paperwork signed, okay? Whereby you put them in your vault, put them in the family vault. Have a family lawyer. They can keep record. And you make sure you got legal paperwork. It's echoing there. I can hear you again. All right, I'm just gonna keep going because I can't hear you, Mr. Manja. I think today, I think there's issue with your, yeah.
Yeah, continue. I was muted. I was muted anyway.
Okay, all right then, cool.
Yeah, continue.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, all right. So yeah, I would say that there's a lot of case laws from United Nations, land and human rights. We have like what they call annotated compilation of case laws from the UNHR office. I mean, the latest report I had is about 5 years out of date anyway. It's 2015 because this is not something they do all the time. But the important thing is like even the African Commission on Humans and People Rights, they all are part of this. They all have to sign up to this anyway. So there are legal routes. If, for example, if anybody fears that in the Gambia, Mustafa Njah is very connected, and then he can use his connections, the connections he used to get people's land for free, he can use the same connection to get Scots free. You can tell them no. You have to go to the court system. You exhaust that, and then you can go to the regional court in Nigeria. And if you exhaust that, you can go to the African court in Tanzania. So there are steps you can take. So don't be fearful that, oh, this guy is so connected, I don't have a chance. If I go through the court system in the Gambia, I'm not going to win my court case. You have to. Your thinking has to be. You cannot think that way. That is very defeatist attitude. Because two things you need to understand: this is your right. The state has got no right to take your land from you and give it to an individual. So that is your right. So that should be enough energy, so enough impetus for you to keep going. So you don't have to give up just because you fear that, oh, it's the Gambia, this guy is connected, he's a powerful man, there's nothing I can do. There's a lot you can do. I mean, that is a very self-defeatist thinking, and I think our people need to move away from that. Mustafa Njai is just another human being like you. If it is not because Jammeh gifted him people's land, Mustafa Njai is another struggling businessman. He wouldn't even be well known, number one. So we just need to know this. It's very important. So overnight, an Annotated, I mean, he's a struggling businessman. Overnight, he became a millionaire because he took people, he got given people's land, people's communal land, swaths of land, which he used as sorties and securities to get money to build on them. So it's unjust, but it's also a
Yeah,
historical.
that's very unjust. But one of our viewers want to know what land lease means in the Gambia. Can you kindly explain? You know, if you say
Um,
lease.
yeah, I think we probably need to be very careful here. We just need to
Mm,
tell her that we are not lawyers. Um,
yeah, okay.
yeah, we are not lawyers. Basically, some of what we talk about on the law cases here is just court cases you can find online yourself. But to try to
Mm.
interpret them, I think that would be a great mistake. So we are
Okay,
not.
yeah.
Unfortunately, we cannot do that. So, but you have to probably speak to lawyers in the Gambia. So we got somebody like
Mm,
lawyer Fati. If we want to, we can
mm.
keep. We can make. He can
Connect you with him, yeah.
connect it to lawyer Fati. He probably will be able to tell you more about that. But we are not lawyers, unfortunately. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. All right. So yes, that's the one, isn't it? Louis
Yeah,
Mello.
yeah, Lumelo, yeah.
Yes. Okay. So, Luis, yeah, unfortunately, we are not lawyers. Yeah, so I think that's important. Yeah, but I mean, there's so many case laws there. Some of them you would not believe, but they happen in even democracies. You see them happening in places like in Canada. So this is not just a Gambian problem. So it happens even in advanced economies. I'm gonna try and show us a little. One second. I know last time we tried this, we struggled a little bit. We'll try again today. If we struggle, we can forget it. Okay, well, I'm gonna try and share some files with you guys. But if the moment we struggle, we'll just forget it. Don't worry about it. Can you see anything?
It's coming. It's loading. Yeah, it's here.
Okay. All right.
But one screen on top of each other, right?
Yeah, I'll sort it out in a minute. Yeah.
Okay.
Can you see me? Can you see it now?
No, it's opening, I think.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so guys, this is the 50th episode of Brufut Land Injustice. As David said in his introduction, Brufut is just a template we're using because that's the most recent and that's the most I can say brutal way of somebody losing their land to an individual who become very, very, very rich. And now he have all the media houses at his disposal trying to create a different narrative. So the onus is on us, especially the people from Kombo who are mainly affected by this land injustice, to find a way to counter that narratives. Because what happened, you made, a population of close to 45,000, extremely poor. And if you should go creating all these foundations, doing this and that, yeah, they're all good. But why don't you go back to the community and compensate them properly and speak to them? Is so that's the purpose here. This is a fully situation. If today Brufut, yes, tomorrow Sugutan, who knows? Next after tomorrow, Gunjo. And it could be a nationwide issue because at some point land in Kombo will eventually run out.
Yeah.
So the next on the line is 4 years or the Yomis. And it can go on like that. And land is wealth. Land is history. Land is everything. You can't do anything on this all. You have to use land. So you abandon that?
I'll on-site for a minute. I'll on-site for a minute. So whilst we talk, I think is yeah. I'll do it in a minute. Basically, I just want to
Okay.
chime in what you're saying. Yes.
Mm.
You hear this from people. I even had it the other day. I was a little bit shocked. Somebody was saying that yes, Tafanjaya he donated 1 million from the ban clinic to give him the ban
Yeah.
clinic, and I think
Yeah.
it's important we look at the context here. It's also important we look at the broader picture. So if I give you a swath of land, let's say in Brufut is 3.7 kilometers square, okay, a plot in that plots of land of 40 by 30 meters, let's say, is selling for $40,000. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
So if the plots are going for $40,000 or on that plot of land, that swap of land, but somebody donated $1 million, $1 million is only $20,000.
Yeah.
But $20,000 is not even enough to buy 40 by 40 out of a four square kilometers of somebody's land. So where does the benevolence? Where is the benevolence coming here? So I don't understand the argument. I was just like, how cannot believe people are saying this? So you need to understand that. Look at the context. I'm not going to do the maths because I understand it's very important. Sometimes when you give people the figure, the whole effect it doesn't register. So the best thing
Yeah.
is just give them the numbers and leave them to do the math themselves. So four
So I
square
think
kilo.
that's why this program is very important because to most Gambians might be are not even aware. We
Yes.
had this narrative, we actually compensate the community, but the figures were never quoted. But if the
Okay.
figures are quoted in public, people will know that that's a daylight robbery. So that's why it's important we continue to talk. to make the general public understand how these man acquired those lands, in one of the most unfair way in the world. 1 million, yeah, if everything is equal, it's a lot of money in Gambian standard. But if that cannot even buy you, 40 by 40 among 9 kilometer square, that's the highest of the height of injustice.
Yeah. So yeah, it's quite important. We try to like put them in this context. So
Mm.
4 square kilometers, if 40 by 40 or 40 by 30 is $40,000. How much is how much is 4 square kilometers? I don't want to do the maths. I mean, we can use the lab, we can use a computer to do it, but I like
Yeah,
people to do it themselves
that's
so that
about,
it can
45
register.
million.
Yeah, the injustice can just register what is happening here. So if somebody can say, "Oh, I'm contributing $20,000," and everybody scream and shout, "Why, this guy's generous?" Are you kidding me? Have you done the maths? Have you actually done the maths? $20,000, 1 million. That's just basically that will only buy you 20 meters by 20 meters on somebody's piece of land. The money that goes into his pocket. Can you see the injustice here? So it's just shocking to me. You can hear somebody said, "Oh yeah, either like that or not," but he's doing a very good thing. He's not actually doing a very good thing. That is actually basically stealing people's money and trying to be rich and showing to people that he's actually benevolent. No, you're not benevolent. These are people. This is somebody's inheritance. So and then look at the bigger picture. $20,000 is nothing. That's just 1 million. Okay, 1 million. But look at 4 kilometers now. 4 kilometers square. How many 1 millions are in those? When 35 by 40 or 40 by 40 goes for $40,000. So I'll leave the people to do the maths. Like I said, it's good to let the people do the maths so that they can register. Because if we give them the figure now, it really doesn't register that much. The shock effect doesn't register. But if you let them do the maths themselves, give them the figures, let them do the calculations themselves, and they can see, say, like we said in England, you say, "Oh, bloody hell, I don't believe that." You see, so let them have the shock effect. Let them actually do it themselves. Let them do the maths, and they can understand. Then you can tell me if this guy is generous. It's not generous. It's absolutely nothing. It's peanuts. It's peanuts. 40 by 40 can go how many times into 4 square kilometers? 40 meters by 40 meters. How many times can you go into 4 square kilometers? That's the math you need to do. So that's where the context of $20,000 and 1 million comes into. So it's absolute peanuts. And then to make it all actually, what should make it actually more outrageous, that's somebody's land. That's somebody's wealth. That's somebody's inheritance. So it's madness, really. So there you go, Mr. Manjang. I don't know if you got any other comments to add to that. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I was muted again. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, I said, yeah, that's no further comment. Just if you can proceed to the next segment. You
Okay.
know,
All right. Like I was saying, it's nice to caution people. Don't give them this false hope that you can go to the court in Gambia today and tomorrow, the court case will be over. It doesn't work like that. These things can take a long time. But I think the most recent case we had, I can give you a few cases. Like I was going to show you a whole list of the court cases from the UN. But the latest cases you can say much recent anyway is for example the Okek people in Kenya. They took the Kenyan government to court over their land. In 2017, the African Court on African Court on Humans and People Rights, and they found what's it called, the Kenyan government was actually abusing their rights, and these people were given their rights back. And then this was a very it's also a major precedent for indigenous people's rights in all over the place for the Okek community in Kenya, but for all over. For them, that court battle took them 8 years. But you got other cases in Kenya that have been taken 100 years. They started during the colonial time. They've been fighting for their land. It took 100 years. That court case went to Kenya, and they even had to come all the way to the UK sometimes because the British were involved in it. So it's not like if you go to a land court case, you can finish quickly. If, for example, somebody wants to be compensated money, that's easy because you can take money. But somebody like me, and just like those Kenyans, they don't want money because they want their land back. So, but for example, if it's Mr. Manjang, you just said, okay, I just want the money, it's fine. That's okay. That's very easy to fix. You can just name your price and they'll give you the money, they'll give you compensation, everybody's happy. But you're gonna find people like me who are not interested in that. I am not interested in selling my land to anybody because it's my inheritance and I want my kids to inherit it from me and their kids after them. I would like it to stay in my family forever. So no money, there's no amount of money that can buy that land from me. So I think that's quite important. But closer to home as well, in 2018, Liberia also passed a landmark law. And because for them specifically, they were arguing about foreign ownership of their ancestral land. But it took that court that for the Liberian government to pass that law. It took about 4 years through the court system. To just to the politicians talking about it, because you got to remember there are always vested interest. So you and I, things might look very black and white. This is somebody's land, don't take it. But you got vested interest in there. So even in the Gambia, Mustafa Njai, there are people who will back him because it's vested interest. Whether they're politicians or people in the media, they don't care about, for example, what my problem is. And that's not their problem. It's fine if they want to. We're not here to morally judge them. Okay. But so that's why people like us who have been wronged and whose land have been taken need to do the fight yourself. But yeah, if we go to like I'm saying the case in Liberia, it took 4 years for the law to be passed because there's so many people within the parliament itself who would refuse, who were very, very vehemently opposed to this law. What is the law just saying? Basically, the traditional landowners, let's protect their right. It's their right. Let's protect it and put it under the law so that the state doesn't give their territory and they giving logging concessions and mining and agriculture to people from other places. It took 4 good years to go through the court system because they have vested interest. The people who would not want that because they have benefit in it. They have benefit, they have money, financial connections, and political connections, and this give them economic power. So for them, it's not in their interest for Liberia to pass that law. So this is lands that have not been built on. Can you imagine what's going to happen in a case like Brufut or Yundum? So it's a whole host of people. The barrier, what is going to be in front of you is daunting, but it's not unsurmountable. It's not insurmountable. You can fight this thing and you can win it. You just have to believe in you have to believe in yourself. It's just self-belief because you got to understand morally you are on the right path here. It's people wrong you, so that should be enough for you to have enough power and energy for you to fight on. But yeah, but it took a very long time, and President George Weah, in 2018, September 2018, actually signed it. He just signed the legislation. It's like, this is it. These people's land is their inheritance, is ancestral land. Nobody's going to take it from you. So the government protect their land from them. In the case of the Gambia, we have the very opposite. You have the state land act telling people that we're going to take your land from you. We're going to give it just not to the government. We're going to give it to private individuals. And we're going to make these private individuals very, very wealthy. And we're going to make you impoverished in the process. So can you see what happened? Liberians have got a context here. Liberians had a context of civil war and mayhem and social strife, and they don't want to go back to it. And they understand the value of land. That if you take people's land, we're going to go back to what we had. And George Weah is telling them that we don't want to revisit the nightmare Liberia had. So we got to give people their land back, because land can do that to people. It can cause a whole lot of problems. It can cause civil wars. That's what land does, because people's attachment to their land is more than just wealth. Like I'm telling you, I gave you historical context of some lands, even though this specific land was not part of it. But it's very historical context and has a political context to it. You can say it was 1865. Yeah, you might say Kumbasilla was 1865, over 100 years ago, but it's very relevant to us today because it's part of my inheritance. It's part of who I am today. I can never move away. Actually, it's a history I'm very proud of. It's a history I'm very proud of. That my forefathers were actually, you can call them mercenary soldiers, that they're mercenary soldiers for Kombosilla. It's part of my history. I can never move away from it. So that's why the land is sentimental to me, because it's my whole being is attached to this land. It's more to me than just attachment to our land, but my history is very sentimental. My history is important to me. That's why I teach it to my kids who are not born in the Gambia. They live in the UK. They're 11 years old, but I still drum into their head that they are who they are, going back generations, and not only to help them so that they can be confident in themselves, because where the environment they live in, They can just not be looked at, oh, I'm just a black person, but they can know that actually I come from a great, in my lineage is actually very great. Whatever the Western people could do, my people could actually do it greater. Before they had a democracy, my people in West Africa actually had their human charter. So you can say that one of the oldest. So it's so many things. When I deal with this land, when I deal with what's it called, my history, my identity, it's a whole host of things you deal with. And the central theme in this thing is identity and history. So I need to impart this to my child. So that's why when I get irate about this land issue, even though she's 11 years old, she knows about it, and she reads about it, and she sits next to me. It's like, but Dad, how is that possible? How can somebody take somebody that belongs to me and go to my forefather and give it to somebody else? That's not fair. I'm like, yeah. So I'm trying to teach her to know that this fight, Daddy might have to pass it to you, and to prepare her, because that's our inheritance. So I keep on going back to this fact that other people might be happy to get compensation, financial compensation, happy take the money. I don't need money. I don't need tax money. I need my land back, because he's got no amount of money in his pocket that he can give me for me to accept to give him my land, because land is more than money to me. It's got that historical value to me. It's got that sentimental value to me. You can never buy that, and I am not willing to sell it. So that's where we are. So that's one of those things. So you can say in Liberia, they understand and they did that. But then you cannot talk about the Kombo land issues, the Brufut land issues, without putting them in the context of the rapid urbanization in Gambia, in Kombo. And you're going to find this all over. Historically, you go back to the Renaissance period in Europe, they had that. You go to America, you had those. People used to live in rural communities. And then for them, for UK, was industrial revolution. People decided to move in en masse to the cities. It created a lot of problems. It created land problems in this country as well. So it always happens. So we have urbanization. So you see, if you, for example, the Center for Strategic and International Studies, they also had a study. They published this in 2018, and they said Africa is the fastest urbanization. Africa is one of the places which is fastest spread of urbanization they've seen, the world have seen. It's transforming so quickly. Okay, and so that is something we have to deal with. Sub-Saharan Africa, they call it. But we should not do this at the cost of people losing their inheritance and their land. So people will have to move into the cities. That is fine. I mean, they are giving us estimates like by 2050, 75% of all Africans will be living in urban areas. I mean, this is not obviously, as you know, these are actually how do you call them? These are modeling and projections. They are not written in stone. They do change, but I think that should give us a cause for concern, and
Yeah,
especially
but this is very evident in the Gambia because West Coast region alone, you have 700,000 people, and KMC 400,000. So that's more than half of the population, in KMC and West Coast region alone. So I think that's probably ahead of schedule anyway, as far as Gambia is concerned. So
yes,
that's why, yeah.
yeah, so that's actually, yeah, that's like you said, that is very true. So sub-Saharan Africa is urbanizing it's the fastest rate in the world. I mean, again, in 2016, McKinsey actually another one produced another report. They call the Alliance on the Move too. And then it's the rapid urbanization in Africa is unbelievable. So what is happening is like you're gonna get individuals like Mustafa Njai who will get very wealthy from this. And then for generations forever, their family and their descendants of them will always be wealthy because they've got land. So people like us who own the land originally for 200 years, we're going to become landless. Our people who have nowhere to go. But not only landless that they have nowhere to go, they're actually going to become powerless economically and politically. So that's a disaster for us. So that's why the Gambia's urbanization, the rapid spread, the rapid urbanization in the Gambia should not come at our expense. So that's why we need to fight back. Yes, Gambia need to be developed, no problem. If the Gambia government is not what was it called clever enough or responsible enough to make sure that we spread out, we decentralize. Not everything should be in Kombo. Move some stuff to the urban area, to the rural areas. Go to the up country, the North Bank. But if they think that everything needs to be concentrated in Kombo, the consequences of that, everybody would like to move to Kombo. That's a human nature. That's why I'm in India. That's why I'm in England, because I want to improve myself. That's life. That's what life is. But in England, that's why they have got controls in place. That's why they don't have an open door policy that everybody can come in. They have a control. So as a human being, just like you in Saudi, you came to England first, now you're in Saudi because we want to improve. That's human nature. Everybody want to improve your lot, but you don't do it at the expense of others. So people will need to move to Kombo. We are governments like them, but let it not be at the expense of people, the native Kombonkers. So the government can try and arrest that by what they do, decentralize it. Let move some stuff out away from Kombo. Move into Jarasova, move them to Basse, make them urban. Yeah, so that other people in those areas don't have to have the need to come to Kombo. I think that's where we are. So if we have a government that's not responsible enough and they have no foresight, or they do projections, but nobody even never actually act on them, we have to force them. It becomes our duty to kind of not force them, actually to nudge them a little bit to say, hey, come on, mate, you need to do this because it's going to cause a problem here. And the problem is going to reverberate. And then it's going to have consequences far worse than what we have. It can be a national strife for us, civil strife. Can you do something about it? So we have to do that because our people are comatose. Our governments are comatose. That's just the way it is. So people have to take it upon themselves to force them to act. Okay, so this is what some of these come into. So, like I keep on saying, when we speak about the Combo issues, whether it's the land issue, whether it's the environmental issue, we're trying to appeal to the broader Gambian masses that this might be us today, but it might come your way tomorrow. So don't think that we have in England, we got NIMBY, 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 not in my backyard. It's an attitude to say that as long as it doesn't affect me, I don't care. So that NIMBY attitude, we want our people to move away from it. Just don't say that because it's affecting Gunjur today, I live in Nyomi, it doesn't affect me. No, the moment we say that we live in a community, we live in a civil society, in one contiguous land we call the Gambia, our fates are intertwined. So what affects me affects somebody near me. And we all profess to be this Gambian one family anyway. So how can you all profess to be this one Gambian family anyway? What you can sit down and not only actually accept the injustice, but actually go out of your way to help those people to try and change the narrative what happened, because that's what we've seen, and that's what is so unfortunate and sad. If you leave Mustafa Njai to come and do his own stuff, it's fine. But you got people going out there to say, oh, Mustafa Njai is doing this, Mustafa Njai is doing this. Look at the context. Is Mustafa Njai giving you is donating $20,000? Mustafa Njai is taking somebody's land. That's about $1 million, worth $1 billion. So what is 20,000 pounds? $20,000. It's absolutely nothing. So, but because they have this NIMBY attitude, it's not in my backyard, so we have a laissez-faire attitude. I honestly don't care because it doesn't bother me. So what I'm gonna do is I'm trying to put myself in Mustafa Njai's good book so that maybe he can give me some, I can get some breadcrumbs from him. It's a mental slavery. It doesn't take us anywhere. Because what he does is it actually erodes the morality of who we are as a society. That's why we have endemic corruption. Because if you think that, oh, I don't need to talk to them, let me keep quiet because for me, it's just, like they say, it's like, for me, it doesn't affect me really, and then I might get some benefit from it. Why should I talk? Even this night, early in the morning, I was speaking to somebody in America. He told me he spoke to somebody in Brufut saying that, oh, Mustafa Njai is helping people in Brufut, is building a mosque. And he told me a guy who was my childhood friend told him this. I was incensed this morning. I'm like, is this guy crazy? I told him to give me his number. I'm going to call him later. I'm going to have a chat with him to say what's gone into his head. So because maybe he doesn't understand that Mustafa Njai building a mosque, whatever it is building, it basically going to cost him less than 2 million. 2 million. If it's cost him $2 million, that's 40,000 pounds. 40,000 pounds is what he sells a plot of land of 35 by 40 meters. And he's taking 44 square kilometers from me, from Brufut people. So how is that guy generous to you? Really? Where's the generosity here? Where's the benevolence? Because people don't understand. They don't see the bigger picture. We don't want to patronize people, telling them they are stupid, but they're not. But we just need to think. They need to change their thinking. Yeah? Change your thinking a little bit. Say, hold on a minute. What's the value of this land? Actually, if you think about it, the percentage of 1 million, that's what? 0.02%? 0.02%. It's absolutely nothing. So this is the conversation. This is the message we need to keep on hammering to our people. Don't get so bedazzled so quickly with all this pretense of like I'm a generous person and benevolent person. It's a pretense. Yeah, it's no moral backbone in that guy. This is a guy who stood in Brufut while the military were abusing people, elderly people in their 80s. The soldiers were abusing them. He stood there. because he wanted to take their land. He was happy for this guy called Baba Job to insult my elders, Baba Job. Baba Job insulted 2 of those elders who died today. And they told him, they said, you insult us today, you will see what is going to happen to you. What happened to Baba Job? Yeah, Jambe's people kill him in his hospital bed. Because I don't care about anybody. I'm not saying that's a prophecy. I'm not saying what those elders told him is because they have some power. But Allah just actually, Allah didn't have to wait for that.
They say karma is a B word. I don't want to finish that, but
exactly.
What goes around comes around. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and under Yajame, we've seen a lot of that. So Gambians should learn their lesson. We've seen a lot of that. People who abuse their power and position, and how they all end up. You know.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, Baba Job stood there insulting the 2 elders, the elderly people in my family. They're not here today. May God, may their souls rest in peace, and may Baba Job's also souls rest in peace. But you can see what happened to Baba Job. What happened? Yajame's murderers went to his hospital bed and they choked him to death. So this is the people we had in the Gambia. So if somebody can come to me today say, Yajame gave this guy land, Yajame's government gave Tab the land. In Yajame's government, there was no government. It was Yajame. He was a dictator. He makes directives. Yeah, I went through the legal court case, Mr. Manjang. There's no proof of purchase. Basically, it's cabinet level. Yajame made an edict. So they gave this guy, they lease our land. I gave you the lease land. I gave you the lease number the other day. So there was no due process involved in it. Everything was just from Yajame gave these guys some of our land. And this guy knows what Yajame was doing was wrong. The 2 of them even fell out.
Yeah.
Because they're both criminals. There's no honor amongst thieves. Both of them are thieves. Mustafa Njai is a thief. He's still a thief. Yajame is a thief. Yeah. I understand that Mustafa Njai said if somebody says something against his character, take them to court. I'm actually asking him today to take me to court. Let him come to UK or the Gambia. I'm happy to meet him. So our court case, he can initiate it. He's a criminal. Yeah. There's no bigger criminal in the Gambia than this guy. Really, it's not. This guy is a big criminal. Yeah, this man will do anything to take people's land. He had no compunction. He had no shame to stand there while elderly people were abused by paramilitaries so that he can become wealthy. And today he's pretending to be a rich, benevolent person. Oh, I can give the police some money because some girl was standing in the rain. He did a very good job. Or I'm going to go there, some publicity. So because he corrupting the police, he actually corrupting our legal system. That's how they corrupt the legal system. So because we don't have strong institutions in that country. So that police station and the minister of which other ministry they come under, they should be shamed. I mean, that minister on that day should have been fired. If somebody on the ministry cannot do their job because they don't have their proper equipment and tools to do their work, you are not fit for purpose. You should be out of that place. It's not be an opportunity for somebody to pretend that they are generous people, they're benevolent, they're actually doing the state's job for them. They're not doing the state's job. We know exactly what they're doing. They're making them corruptible. That's exactly what they're doing. They are corrupting them. I think somebody did a comment there.
He's a big that is Lamin Basse Bojang. He's a big criminal, of course.
Okay. That's my little brother myself anyway. Yeah. Of course he's a criminal. Yeah. You don't find any other criminal in the Gambia than this guy. And he will even tell people in Brufut that, oh yeah, it's the government who took your land. You know what government did to your people, your people don't know what's happening. This guy had no shame. He will tell them. So he thought that he thought that he got away scot-free with murder, taking people's land. It's not gonna happen. Because he knows exactly what he did. If Mustafa Njai is in my position today, he'll be doing exactly what I'm doing. That's what he'll be doing. But my challenge to him is like to take me to court. I'm calling him. I'll tell him this guy is the biggest criminal in the Gambia, Mustafa Njai. You cannot find a more crooked person in the Gambia than this guy. He's the biggest criminal out there. So I'm saying it in public record, so we can go to court. That's a challenge to him. Okay. So, but then anyway, if we move away from this guy up, you talk of the other consequences of urbanization, and then you go to there's a researcher at the University of in Sweden called Emma Elverson. Emma Elverson is like he does research into what they call the global south. And then he's talking about what's it called, like we said, the fast urbanization, and it's going to lead to conflicts. And he talk about how the government bias is fuels communal conflict about land in Africa. And he produced a paper again in August 2019 to say this. And he did a study. And he said each violent communal conflict between groups is witnessed in a number of African countries. It keeps on going up because, like the case we have in the Gambia of the IGM, giving people's communal land or ancestral land to an individual, you find them being mirrored all over Africa. And see this study, and then very, very he did an academic study, and then he was showing us where this is happening. So I'll give you guys some figures. So it's an issue whereby it can create a lot of actually he called it ethno-communal. And it can be ethno-communal. Even though in the Gambia, we're not saying that Mustafa Njai is so and so tribe. We don't. But it is no way about it. We can't. It's no way from. It's no way getting away from it that Mustafa Njai come from a community whereby, and that's not because of an ethnic community, but it come from a local, whereby they have links and they have networks, and they network among themselves, and then they are very, very detrimental to the Gambia. And Nyanjai said it. Nyanjai come from his community, and he said it live. There are people in that community, they are always there for themselves, and they use their networks to the detriment of everybody. And we have to say this, because it's no getting away from it. Anyways, what's he called? Alpha, what's he called? Elperson was saying, and he gave us some examples. He's at Uppsala University. He said in 2018, he worked in Uppsala conflict data program. He recorded such 30 such cases in Africa, whereby communities, sometimes to do with ethnicity, they had fights. They had serious fights. People lost their lives over their land. And he said this is going to increase. That's what he keep on saying. He said this is going to increase more and more and more, because that's what we're seeing in that country. So he gave us examples of, like, for example, it happened in Africa, it happened in DRC, it happens in Ethiopia, it happened in what's it called, even in Nigeria. So one time in Congo, 900 people died because people are fighting over their land. 900 people died during this intercommunal fight for their land. So it's a very, very serious situation. And I think it's important the government in power. I know obviously everything's secondary now because of the pandemic. But I think this land issue in Kombo, that's why it's important we at least nudge them on. We can write opinion pieces, we can come on programs like this, and we're hoping people listen to it and know that this is not like trying to scaremongering, but we're just asking you to look at examples from other countries which are bigger than us, other countries whereby ethnic people are actually as cohesive as we are, but then they had a lot of problems. So this is something we need to work on. So I think somebody else is mentioned again.
Lamin Boya.
Okay. Yes, Labba says, say very well, brother. They've been keeping hiding behind generals, trying to trying to win public minds and giving to this small token of people that they are good people. Exactly. That's exactly what Lamin is saying. So you got to look at this context. Somebody who he basically worked with the IGM to get $1 billion is giving 1 million back. Everybody's saying that this guy is very wealthy, or because the corrupting effect he has on our system, whereby he goes by giving the police some donations. The police, the minister of local government, or whoever they come under, that's their duty. So if that young lady have to stand in the rain without the necessary tool to do her job, the minister need to lose his job on that day, because he's not fit for the purpose he's serving. So that's how you create institutions, you strengthen institutions for us to have better governance, but not to have people who will use their wealth here to corrupt them, because there is a reason why he's doing it. It's just to corrupt them. That's all it is. But anyway, so like I was saying, and then I'm gonna give you an example. I don't. Maybe this is just mere coincidence, but I think this is very important. Yeah. In June 1996, during Yahya Jammeh's time, we have then what's his name? Yankuba Toure was the Ministry of Lands. Okay. They went to this conference, UN Habitat conference in Istanbul. So the report they produced on that day, they call it National Report and Plan of Action on Human Settlements 1996 to 2000. For the Habitat Conference in Istanbul, like I said. And then you will see, because UN Habitat, Celta Afrique is where TAF got most of his funding from. Yeah. Celta Afrique was also in partnership with UN Habitat. UN Habitat, if people who don't know, they are the UN body that helps with human habitation all over the world. Okay, so they are a UN body, but Celta Africa was in partnership, obviously, with them. Celta Africa was also in partnership even with African Development Bank. So maybe this is just mere coincidence, but you can see this was 2000, that was 1996. So what happened in the Gambia around 1997? That's when we got all this land taken. And where did we have
Yeah.
gone for money? From Celta Africa. Why is Celta Africa connected to UN Habitat?
Yeah.
You see the link here.
Yeah, it's got interesting, but unfortunately we're running out of time. So if you can round it up maybe in another couple of minutes, that would be brilliant.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
but it's just unbelievable. I get really, really emotional as soon as you start mentioning this. This is probably the biggest injustice. And as you said, these court cases take ages.
they
So I
take
think
forever.
the earlier um, the Brufut community actually mount a challenge, the better, because we hope. That's
Mm.
why I said next election is both more than party politics, because
Yes.
if you um, vote in these, party politicians who have been there like 20, 30, they have connection as well. They also have conflicted
Mhm.
because these people are behind them, giving them money. So
Yes.
they wouldn't want to do something that's going to upset them. That's what I say. It's more. We need the good, educated Gambian, well-meaning Gambian to come forward, and
Yeah.
probably form a coalition to break this cycle, because the
Yeah.
political sycophancy, while there is no political will, because by the
Mhm.
time they got into office, they accept
Yeah.
so much gift from
Yeah.
these people. They cannot do anything that will upset them.
Yes.
It's
But it's important. I'm going to show you. I just want to show you for example, like I was saying, Yankuba Toure. Yankuba Toure
mm,
was the Minister of Lands. I think it's very, very important. We try to see the significance of this.
mm,
Okay,
yeah.
because basically you can say from where the moment he came. Can you see? Can you see now? Is it big enough? Is it big enough? Can you see it? Can you hear me? Anyway, I don't think you can hear me, but if you can see the
No,
picture,
no,
it's not very
I can hear you and I can see you. I was
okay.
just muted. Yeah.
So yeah, so national report and plan of action on human settlements 1996 to 2000. So this was in Istanbul in June 1996. So you can see, I'll show you the picture of Mr. Yankubu Toure there. I know it's black and white, but you can see this is the guy in the beret. I don't know if you can
Yeah.
see the beret there. So
Yeah.
I should take in my pen, but yeah, he's
Yeah,
there.
I can figure it out. Yeah.
Okay, so that's him. So the moment this thing ended, so they went to UN Habitat. Like I said, South Africa is connected to that, and they got to Gambia. Before you know it, Brufut, people and people lost their land to Mustafa Njai. So and then who is the biggest financial who was a partner? You can call it a partner, sponsor, or you want to call it that, or mortgage, to Mustafa Njai in those days. It's South Africa. So the link is there. So, but anyway, I think that's what all the other court cases, for example, I didn't show you. We saw many of them from the UN. The difference between them is like these people are taking the governments to court because the governments in those countries have taken their land and the government actually use the land. But in our case,
Mm.
it's quite unique that the government took our land but gave it an individual. So I think which one that's worse. That's why our situation is not much worse than those people's. So I think this is where this context is important. I know we've run out of time, but I
Yeah.
think I could be a bit heated up today. But because somebody called me this morning to tell me there's a guy in Brufut saying that Mustafa Njai is helping people in Brufut. It really wound me up, man. It just really I got upset early in the morning. I'm like, because I know the guy, so I'm gonna call him later to tell him maybe is he crazy or something? What are you thinking? You know. So
Yeah.
but
That's
yeah,
unfortunate. Yeah.
yeah, there you go. Anyway,
Yeah,
so
these also is divide and rule tactics. Of people when it comes to mosques, they have to know where their money is coming from.
yes,
And this is a big problem. Even our fight against the Golden League, you have the community divided by monies. They go to influential people in the community, show them money, and they don't look at the bigger picture and also the long-term impact. That's really disheartening. It's more disheartening than that itself when you have your own people accepting gifts from these people. You know, somebody need to go and explain to them what they're doing. It's
Yeah, I
not.
think people like Lambase, who is here today, could actually tell people, look, if Mustafa Njai gave even Brufut people, everybody $1 million, then maybe we can be happy. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay. The original, if he goes to Bojang Kunda, gave everybody million, Manneh Kunda, Jora Kunda, Sani Kunda, Jat, then okay, maybe. But apart from that, there's nothing Mustafa Njai can do which Brufut people should be happy, because he's a billionaire, based on their land. It's just as simple as that. Because, like I said, going back to the numbers again, going back to the swath of the land and what he's selling them for and what he got for free, 4 square kilometers, you can say, and he sell by 40 by 40 or 35 by 40 for $40,000. So, can you see the injustice in that? So, how can you say I'm giving people money? Number one, the money didn't belong to you anyway. So this wealth you try to spread around to show people that you're wealthy, it actually doesn't belong to you. It's somebody's wealth. This is somebody's inheritance. It's a criminality. That guy's a big criminal. So that's why the challenge is to him to take us to court, because I think he says anybody who says something against him is not right, he's going to take them to court. So I'm challenging him, because he took my cousin, he threatened my cousin Lamin Jane, Lamin Boy Jane in Bakau, that he's going to take him to court. I told the boy, I said, let him take you to court. Let's see. Let him take you to court. But obviously they spoke it, and they wanted to fix it, and they fix it. It's left to them. That's fine. But Mustafa Njai,
yeah,
let nobody fool him. Let him not fool himself that he thinks that this is done. This is not done. This is not done business yet. This is not a done deal. It's not a done deal. Okay, Mr. Manjang, Abarako.
yeah. Thank you very much, Dave. Once again, hope to see you guys again on Monday, inshallah. We have Dr. Ismail Sise here. We will be talking about effect of COVID on democratization. So we
Okay.
hope to see you. Please share the video.
Yeah, I
Thank
shall do
you.
that. Okay, thank you. Have a good day. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.